Nothing like a relaxing day at the old malt shop enjoying a nice tasty... Hey, wait, what are you... Excuse me, sir? Sir, what exactly do you think you're doing?
I drink your milkshake.
I am very confused right now. Welcome to A Tough Act to Follow. I'm Preston, aka the Ploominator, and I will be your eccentric genius here to awake some of the oft-undiscovered secret tunes of the Hollywood Symphony. And when the viewers have a great request, I have no other choice but to oblige. So thank you to Kim Wexler for this glorious suggestion, which led me to discover the often overlooked talents of Paul Dano. But just what parts of Paul Dano's performances are the most vital to understanding his talents? Is there something that has allowed him to stand out amongst other actors of his generation? And are there moments which really allow Paul to unlock new levels of performance and just take off? What are the secrets that make Paul Dano a tough act to follow? It was no surprise to me that I got a request for Paul. For starters, he's a super talented actor. He's got an eccentric and somewhat understated resume of fascinating roles that have allowed him to really excel across a wide variety of movie genres. And when you break down these roles, they always start with intentions. I've talked about intentions a lot. They are the motivations that drive a character and allow us, the audience, to see why they are doing their particular actions. Paul is great at showing these intentions and making choices based off of them.
You are a stupid man, Abel. You've let someone come in here and walk all over us. You let him in and do his work here, and you are a stupid man for what we could have had.
I followed his word, Eli. I tried.
You didn't do anything but sit down.
And while these often come straight out in the open, Paul is also fantastic at playing them beneath the surface. He can show that while his actions say one thing, there is clearly an ulterior motive behind them. It comes across strongly in very small, poignant moments, but it's equally represented in the moments where he is big and powerful as well.
Get out of here. Don't you dare turn around and come back. For if you do, all the armies of my boot will kick you in the teeth. And you will be cast up and thrown in the dirt and thrust back to perdition. And as long as I have teeth, I will bite you. And if I have no teeth, I will gum you.
And this talent for multiplying his intentions allows him to be wildly ambiguous. He's able to hide his true intentions and keep us guessing as we watch him perform. It makes his characters more complex and interesting because we're not always sure exactly what he's trying to do. And in certain genres, particularly mysteries and thrillers, it gives his characters far more interesting dynamics.
I went for a drive.
You went for a drive? You weren't driving. I know for a fact those girls were playing outside your RV. You weren't driving, it was parked. Was it a special day? Were you planning on taking 2 little girls?
No.
Have you done that before?
No.
Did you ask him to come inside?
No.
You asked him to come inside the RV and then you take him away?
No.
Did you put those girls somewhere?
Yes,
Come on, did you put those girls somewhere?
Don't touch me.
And this talent lets Paul convincingly play characters with complex mental issues. It enables him to really show up and make a strong first impression and then immediately have us question that impression moments later. And this is incredibly hard to do. Making the audience question what they already know based just on performance is so hard. And it really matters when it comes down to these kinds of roles.
I want to talk. You're a free man. I'm a free man. Hey! Tell me what you did with him. Tell me.
They didn't cry until I left them.
What did you say?
But again, you want to be able to adapt and play numerous roles. Getting stuck in similar genres and characters can ultimately lead to stagnant performances. But Paul isn't stagnant, he's wildly diverse. He's able to bring the same internal conflicts to all manner of characters, and it makes the somewhat generic roles far more interesting than they could be.
Logical explanation.
Love isn't logical.
No, but you know what is? Physics. Or metaphysics, whatever. People don't appear out of thin air.
She did.
How?
I don't know how. It's love. It's magic.
Okay. Let's say you created this person. Everything you wrote about her came true, even the smallest things?
Yes.
Have you tried writing more?
No.
Write something about her.
Why? She's perfect.
And if nothing happens, maybe we go to the police.
While in many indie comedies, characters can tend to get indistinguishable from one another, Paul's ability to complicate his intentions gives him far more dynamic actions and moments than any other person playing these characters would have in these movies. Paul stands out because he makes the character different. He's not just a generic clone of every other male lead in these kind of movies.
What's your dog's name?
Scotty. I named him for F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Who?
F. Scott Fitzgerald, the novelist.
I don't read a lot of fiction.
Oh, he's probably one of the greatest novelists who ever lived.
Naming your dog after him, it's a little disrespectful.
No, it's a gesture.
Yeah, an aggressive gesture. Think about it. You're a novelist. Do you think this guy's the greatest? So you name your dog after him to cut him down to size.
Now, I know we've gotten a lot into intentions, but Paul doesn't just know how to deliver the lines either. He's incredibly physical in a really understated way. He's got a talent for embodying every movement and gesture with intention, and often doesn't even have to say anything for those intentions to come across.
So who do you hang out with? No one? What about your family?
The way that Paul allows himself to exist so fully helps complete the characters in a believable way. And since we understand and accept him without him speaking, when he finally does get a chance to say something, we listen. And this makes his words even more powerful and even better justified because he's made a strong impression before he's even said anything.
I said I'm not. Okay, I don't care. I'm not getting on that bus again.
Dwayne, for better or worse, we're your family.
No, you're not my family. Okay, I don't want to be your family. I hate you fucking people. I hate you. Divorce, bankrupt, suicide. You fucking losers, you losers. Okay. No, please just leave me here, Mom.
And since we know that there are many layers to Paul's performances, it makes sense that a lot of his roles are mired in very complex characters, and it allows him to really flourish under these roles. There are some roles which just have so many thoughts that you could never keep up with how deep the character is. Paul is fantastic at displaying these. His character creation takes deep to a new level because he's able to play so many different layers of the character.
Yeah, so, here? No, hit it, like twice. There's like a gasp in between. Cut! I think we got it. Chuck, mix that in with the sound of the train going by at the end of the Caroline No. Hey, Chuck, you think we could get a horse in here?
But this doesn't just stop with characters' creation. These complexities evolve to new and remarkably more complicated places as the movie progresses. People aren't static, and to reflect this accurately, characters have to evolve as well. And Paul is fantastic at letting his characters evolve over the course of the movie, and showing that they can continue to grow through their thoughts. And again, this all comes from Paul working hard and doing more than we ever thought possible. He takes the work very seriously, and it shows as he comes across brilliantly in each and every role that he plays. So why do we like Paul Dano? 1. Paul is intentional. Each and every choice that Paul makes is layered multiple times over. These layered intentions let Paul's characters portray numerous ideas and keep the characters from being static or fake, and instead makes them more human as a result. 2. Paul is ambiguous. Paul's intentions don't come across clearly every time, and it lets the character keep a sense of mystery. As the movies unravel, you have to pay attention in order to understand the characters, and it helps us connect further with his roles. 3. Paul defies stereotypes. Whether mental issues, quirks, or even just stock character versions of professions, Paul never lets his roles become stagnant. Whenever he has to play a role within a very similar or noted genre, he makes sure those characters stand out by playing them differently than other similar characters. 4. Paul physically embodies his characters. Paul doesn't just play his characters through his intentions, voice, and face. He lets the character be in every movement, and it makes that character that much more real. We become accepting of him in the roles because he's playing them even when he's not speaking. 5. Paul plays in levels. Paul's characters are already complex and interesting, so when he adds even more layers to them, they get even better than they initially are. And as the movie progresses, the characters continue to evolve and grow from the start of the movie to the finish without ever letting up and implying their continued growth past the end of the movies in the process. Paul Dano. Wow, what a seriously talented actor. I mean, there are so many movies to watch to see his fantastic talent, but I know that you have a limited amount of time, so I'll keep it simple. These are my 5 essential Paul Dano performances. 1. There will be blood. Paul plays 2 different characters in this intense historical drama, and his role shows the great range of his abilities. It lets him play layers of intentions that make sure the characters are more and more complex, and it's a standout supporting role to be sure. 2. Prisoners. Paul's role in this thriller is fairly small, but it shows his abilities off well. He convincingly plays a traumatized and brain-damaged man wrapped up in a kidnapping conspiracy, and his ability to keep the role ambiguous helps keep the movie mysterious as it goes forward. 3. Ruby Sparks. This charming little indie does a great job of poking holes in the idea of quirky perfect romances. Paul gives conflict to his role, and it helps this movie feel unique when it could feel entirely repetitive of something else. 4. Little Miss Sunshine. Paul spends most of this movie silent, and it allows him to really diversify and show another side of his abilities. And when he finally does get to speak, he really makes it work and gives the charmingly defiant brother in this dysfunctional family a really memorable character arc. 5. Love and Mercy. While sharing this role with co-star John Cusack, Paul's half is arguably the more notable half, in large part because of his phenomenal work at creating, growing, and evolving this real-life portrayal as Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys. And the end result is so fantastically profound it warrants multiple watches. And that is why Paul Dano is a tough act to follow. Thank you so much for watching. What are your favorite Paul Dano roles? Were there any you expected that I didn't mention? Let me know what other actors you love, and I'll see if I can mention them in the future. Again, thanks to Kim for recommending Paul. If you like this video, please give it a like. I won't speak again until this video gets one. Feel free to share this video far and wide and make sure everyone knows the talents of Paul Dano. And to help me make these videos, head over to my Patreon page. You can listen to all my mistake-ridden first takes and get a special mention like these wonderful people. Thanks, Mom and Dad. And to make sure you don't miss a moment, subscribe. You never know when your favorite actor might appear. Thanks so much for watching, and as I always say, thanks for taking the time to get Ploominated.